something for your family financially. Decide to do something different, and that's Momentis. Decide to use this vehicle, which is what it is, in order for you to start getting what you believe you deserve. Remember, this is you versus you. Nobody else knows whether you did it or not. Nobody else is going to. We're going to recognize people for what we can recognize them for, but you know whether or not you're putting it all on the line. You know whether or not you really made that decision. You know whether or not you are escaping from that or whether you're actually challenging it. One of the big things that changed in my business after all these years of network marketing was every time I would go to leave on a Tuesday morning, was my kind of our ritual. I would leave on the early flight to Miami. Amy would get up with me about 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd already be packed and ready to go get to the airport, and then she'd go back home, get the kids ready for school and go. But since we had a rental car and we didn't have cars, she had to take me to the airport. So the drive out was always a very hard drive for me. It was very difficult because it was me leaving again for 5 or 6 days every week. The first year that we're in the business, with going through all this turmoil at home, I was on the road 49 out of those 52 weeks, at least 5 days. But I was on the road every week. I didn't miss a week of travel. I worked every day. I have not worked a day in Momentis since we started. There's not one single day, not Christmas, not Easter, not anything, where I don't make a call or somebody. Mike and Jen are the same way. It's because that's what it takes, right? And so I would go out to the airport, and the closer we got to the airport, the more my stomach would be just eating me up because I didn't want to leave. And then I knew I had to get myself in that zone, right, of what we're talking about. And I wanted to go, but I didn't want to leave my wife. I didn't want to leave my best friend and the kids. I didn't want to go. But we'd get out of the car, and my wife always had the perfect thing to say, and it became our ritual. And it literally sustained me. So I'm going to share it with you. And that is, I would get out, I'd go around, pick up my bags, put them over there, and then she would hug me. And sometimes she'd be still in her pajamas and stuff, so it was kind of a weird scene there, but she would hug me. And she's a short girl, she's 5'4". I mean, perfect height for me, but she's 5'4". And she would stand up on the high rise there by the gate, and where she'd drop me off, and she said, "Baby, if you're going to be gone from us, make it count. Make it count." I'm telling you, if you were in Fort Myers, Florida on those Tuesday mornings, and when she said those words to me, every time I started looking forward to them when we were on the ride out. I started looking forward. That instantly put me where I needed to be. I was ready to make the charge. She would say that, and it would just change everything in my body. My wife was telling me to make it like sending me off to battle. Make it count. So when I would leave there, she would pull away. I'd grab my stuff. I'd run into the American Airlines counter. I'd go, "I'm here to go. Let's go. Come on, get me to Miami. I got to get to Toronto." Everybody's like, "What is? Wow. What's he doing? What do you do?" They would ask me. "What do you do for a living?" Which, by the way, we talk about having to get prospecting all the time. I can't tell you how many times the American Airlines people would ask me, "What do I do for a living?" on those Tuesday mornings. Because I was on fire. The whole flight over, I hated that flight, and these twin turboprops and flying over the Everglades in the summer and in the winter, it's just bad all the time, right? I always think I'm going to die on that flight. Every time I got on, I thought, I'm going to die. And so that tells you my commitment level. I was sold out I was going to die on that plane, but I still got on it every time, right? As we go, I'd be bouncing in that seat. I'd be ready to go. We'd get to Miami, and I'd start making calls again. And so by the time I got up to Toronto, which would be about 3:30 in the afternoon, I'd drop my stuff off and then go in and start doing meetings and work stuff. You didn't stand a chance if you were coming to see me. I was going to look right into you, right past you, and if you weren't ready for what we were showing you, you wouldn't even have 3 minutes of my time. And this was someone who desperately needed people to join. But still, you can't change that fundamental. So if you're going to do this, you're going to find time on your busy schedule, and you're going to sometimes you're going to do things you don't want to do. And by the way, one of those key things that in my life changed, I read it one time years ago. I didn't even know who told me. I don't know where I found it, but it's been people have come up at different times and brought me this study. Harvard did a study of people that were successful. They had tracked it for like 30 years, people that had graduated, that had their goals of what they wanted to achieve. 30 years, over a 30-year period, they tracked them to see if they considered themselves successful. The people that actually considered themselves successful had reached the goals they initially or surpassed them. They analyzed why they did it and what they did, and then they analyzed the people that weren't successful, and they looked at them, what did they do different and stuff, and they really came down to a few key factors. One of them was, and it struck me like a ton of bricks today, all the ton of bricks, and it felt literally like a ton of bricks. They said it was because the people that were successful did not wait to feel their way into action. They acted their way into the field. That was one of the main things. They didn't. Do you know how many days that I've wanted to do Momentis? You know that I've wanted to do network marketing? Probably none. Not one day in my life. it was the very first time I ever saw network marketing. I remember watching Marshall Douglas at an A1 meeting talk about his lifestyle and go, I want to do that. And then the first day I actually practically did Excel, which was my first company, I remember thinking, I hate every second of this. This is horrible. I remember thinking that. I remember thinking, going to meetings and training, sitting in the back of my buddies going, I hate every minute of this. Not the training, I love the training, but I hated doing it. I loved learning about myself, I loved being around great people, but when it came to actually going out and physically doing the things that it took, it was a struggle for me. So what? It's the only way I could get to where I need to go. So I stopped waiting to feel my way into action. I started acting, doing things that would trigger the right things. Like I said, make it count. All of a sudden, boom, I was ready. Then I was acting, taking action. When you take action, all of a sudden the feeling starts coming around. Does anybody ever experience that in working out? You're like, I don't want to work out, I don't want to go for a run, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do it. All of a sudden you start doing it, and like 10 minutes in, you're like, whoo, glad I did that. By the time you're done, that was awesome. Every time I should just do it, you know? And that's the point. Same thing with us and what we're talking about. Don't wait to feel it, guys. You're going to leave here right now and you're going to be how you feel. Just take action. If nothing else today, take action. If you missed everything I said, just take action. Go talk to somebody. Who cares if they don't want to hear about it? It's not about them, it's about you. Who cares if they're not interested or if they've got something to tell you about their network marketing? Who cares? Keep going, keep doing it, keep going, keep doing it, keep going, keep doing it. Do something about what you're talking about, why you're here today. Don't wait, because guess what's going to happen in the next 16 months? We're going to explode. It's going to grow. We have added new bundles. We've added new services. We've got new services coming. We've got an event coming in June in Ohio that is going to be off the hook. We're adding a warranty service any weekend. You guys can corner Jim in the back up there, and that's mine. But in any week now, we'll be adding this warranty service. The warranty service will be something like along the lines of $20 a month. Anything that plugs in your house that's 4 years or younger, or has batteries, just basically electronic, anything like that, you can replace it. We'll send you a card with the replacement of what you spent on it. So, meaning that if you bought that Toshiba laptop 4 years ago, it was probably $1,000. Today it's $400. You know, it's cheaper usually. I have a Samsung TV, I have an LG TV, all these big TVs. If my 3-year-old TV was $3,000, today it's $1,000. Literally a third of what it used to cost. We don't care. We'll send you the $3,000 you spent on it for it, okay? We will send you a refurbished one. We're not going to go and get a refurb, which most of these Best Buy things or these other warranty programs do. And by the way, this is a month-to-month program. You don't have to pay for the whole year in advance or 2 years or 3 years. It's month-to-month. And we're not going to send you and say, okay, we're going to give you a refurbished 3-year-old Toshiba laptop. No, we're going to send you a cash card that will say, well, that was $1,000. Here's your $1,000. And that now is $500. Well, spend $500 on getting a new one if you got $500 in your pocket. That's what it is. Nobody has anything like that. If that's all we were doing at Momentis, you could become crazy successful at our company. That's one thing out of a whole arsenal of things you're doing. And here's why. Because, you know, not everybody has a warranty. Not everybody thinks warranty, right? We know that. Very few. Who knows who has a warranty out there? That's something that has pizzazz, some sex appeal to the stuff. It's fun to talk about. It's new. Not everybody has 10 of those in their pocket, right? But everybody uses gas or electricity or TV or internet. So we have some very fundamental, staple services so that your residual will always be protected. And then we start tying these things together. And it is so close. I'm telling you, I've talked about it for over a year now. And Mike and I were talking about the other day on a plane. And it's coming, guys. So that we'll take things that are services to us and like the EMS unit, for example. We'll take our profit as a company and put it together with the gas here in Northern California and be able to offer people that reduced rate. So it's an artificial reduction, meaning that not because we can buy the commodity less. So there's no other competition out there for us. Nobody else is going to go match this rate because we're not actually getting that rate. We're supplementing that. Does everyone understand that? And we'll drive that rate down for that. So when your customer uses it, the net effectiveness is what happens when we get really good at that? What happens when we can offer things that half the cost of other people, or whatever it is? What happens when that happens? You know what happens? People start going, oh, that's a great company. Oh, I got involved in that company. Oh, I'm going to go talk to some more people. Man, is it going to go on fire? Just like we did after the first 16 months, we had this huge growth period, right? People that were in before that made a bunch of money. People got started and made a bunch of money. But People that got in and didn't do anything lost a bunch of money. They potentially what they could have made to what they did make, it was, for them, they should be depressed. It's sickening, man. You know how many people go, when we go around the country, they go, man, I was in back in the day and I just didn't stick around. I should have stuck around. It's going to be 10 times bigger than that this time. 10 times. This is where everything comes together. It's not just about the business, it's about the services. It's about those customers, about getting, right now we are literally cranking out the customers. Because now we're getting better at this. We're learning. We're not perfect yet by far. Not even close. Probably never will be perfect as long as I'm here, to be honest with you, because I want to push it. I want to see where we can go with this thing. I want to get to that $10 billion mark. And I know people call me crazy. They also thought I was crazy when I said we're going to make $100 million in our first year. We did a lot more than that as a company. This is your time. You've got to go work. Not for me, not for the company, but for whatever reason that put you in this chair today. Now, when I stand up in front of you and I'm done, I got to go catch a flight home so we can go to work again somewhere else. No, every time I stand in front of anybody, and that's why I want to turn the lights on so I want to open it up, because I don't want to come off as arrogant. That's the worst thing that I can come off as. And I know that it's easy to sound that way, or sound like I've got it all worked out. No, every day I go through the same thing. Remember, it's you versus you. And every day we got to answer to ourselves and what we're doing. So I don't want to come off arrogant. I don't want you ever to think that. I love when people edify. And by the way, if everybody would treat each other the way that they treat me or Mike or Jim when we're on the road, man, what a great company we would have. Because it's so nice to hear people say so many nice things, but the reality is we're all in this together. My family's no more special than your family in Momentis. And we don't deserve it any more than you deserve it, right? But you've got to go out and do it. So when I'm standing up here, I don't want to come off as arrogant. I don't want that. I want you to know I'm serious about what I talk about, and there is no, literally, I'm sold out to what I've learned. I believe that. Hopefully you felt that. But I don't want to come off like I'm some arrogant jerk that's preaching to people, because I'm not. Because every one of you has something special in you, and I want you to make that. But I want to tell you something. There are a lot of people that die every single day with that kind of potential locked up that nobody ever saw. I haven't used it in a while, so I'm going to tell you guys, please don't let me lose all credibility with this, but one movie that I love was that Batman, Christian Bale, Batman. Yeah, I know I'm losing everything right now with you guys, but anyway. Katie Holmes, Miss Tom Cruise, ex whatever she is now. She was playing his love interest there, but he's the Batman at night, but he's the billionaire playboy during the day, and nobody, knows that he's Batman. So he's walking by her, and she's a DA fighting in Gotham and getting things right. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but so she's every day trying to take action and change it in her way. And she bumps into him. He's coming out of this hotel, and he's got two Playboy girls with him, getting in this Lamborghini. And he had just bought the hotel just so he could do what he's doing. And he walks by her, and she's like, "Come on, here he goes again, Bruce Wayne, Mr. Playboy, great, but you're not helping us at all in this city." And so she bumps into him. And so he looks at her at that moment, right? And I'm sitting in the movie theater with my boys and my oldest daughter, and I'm watching this thing. And when he says it, I literally was like, "Bam, Zappo, Andy, bam, that was for you." Right, little stupid Batman movie, right? Every time I watch it, my kids are like, "Dad, here comes Mark," like, "Life changer, Dad, this stuff." And I'm not kidding, man. I was like, what? That is so true. And it's exactly what I want to leave you guys with. And he looks at her and he says, he bumps into her, and here he is all acting in the Playboy. And she said, "Come on, Bruce, when are you going to help?" And he goes, "Well, I am more than what you see." Meaning, like, he wants to say, "I'm Batman. Heck, I'm on your side. I'm doing this every night all night long, right? I'm saving the world," kind of thing. But he goes, "I am more." And she looks back at him and says, "I'm sorry, Bruce, it's not what we are on the inside. It's what we do that defines us." So we'll say it again. It's not what you are on the inside. It's what you do that defines you. Think about that. People say, "I'm the best person. I love people. I do, then I don't do anything for them." Or they're so wrapped up in their own self because they're so broke financially because they didn't make the right decision, not making the right decision, they can't do anything to help anybody. So they died with that idea in their heart and who they could be and what they could actually do. But if you look back, stepped away, took the emotion out of it and said, "What have you done?" in order to show that. Because it is what we do. Now, here's how I know this for sure. In network marketing, I've met so many good people that make nothing in the industry. And then I met some people that I would no more let drive my cars, sleep on my couch. I don't even want around my kids. I protect my family. They're such jerks that make millions. Why is that? Because it's not what you are on the inside, it's what you do that defines you. In Momentis, the computer doesn't know your sincerity. It doesn't know why you're doing it. It doesn't know that you're helping your family members, or if you make it big, you're going to pay for a church, or feed the kids, whatever you're going to do. The computer doesn't know it. The computer looks for production. So it's equal opportunity for all. But I think that inside of us that's the key. That's the part that makes us so different. Is that we have a chance to have every good person, people that have that incredible purpose, that intent, to go out and become special and give them an avenue to do the things that will define them. That's what Momentis is. But you're going to have to do it. So I stand up here in front of you. I'm humbled to be here. I love you guys. Everywhere I go, I try to give recognition that I have a Lord that I serve that has nothing to do with Momentis, has nothing to do with this meeting. But I just don't want to meet him someday and he's going to say, why didn't you mention me in front of that 100 plus people and wherever we are? And so as I say that, our computer doesn't care what religion, what color you are, what gender you are, doesn't matter. But just for me, that I don't think the world revolves around me. I used to, but my wife made sure I lost that. And if I get a chance to serve, that's what I feel like I'm doing or what I want to do. And I hope to prove that to you, not in words or in a training, but over the years that we become partners and go build this thing together for you and your family. God bless you guys. Thanks, Freddie, for having me out.
Come on, we can depend on that. Wow. Isn't that amazing?